welcome back. Happy Thursday and happy watermelon week. I hope you guys have been enjoying the packet this week. Today for the video we have a pretty fun science experiment. So today let me show you what we're going to be doing. Over here is my setup. Can any of you guess just by looking at what I've got set up what we're going to be doing? I've got some vinegar, some baking soda, some dish soap, some food coloring, and a watermelon. So today what we're going to be doing is making a volcano out of our little watermelon here. So I'll show you what the steps are, but first what I'm going to need to do is cut a small hole in the top of my watermelon and take out all the fruit. So I'll come back when that is done. I'll see you in a minute. Alright guys, we're back and the job is done. So what I did is I cut a hole in the top of this watermelon, and you can see that it is all hollowed out inside, and that's because I used this scoop to then scoop it into this bowl. Don't worry, it's not going to go to waste. We're going to eat it later. But one thing that I want to make sure that you know is kids, don't try to cut the hole into your watermelon by yourself. Definitely make sure your parents are there, and it's probably better they cut the hole in the top of the watermelon and then you scoop out the fruit. So with that being said, it's time for our next steps. So the first thing that I want to do is take half a cup of baking soda. We're going to pour that in to our watermelon, just like that. And it's okay if it gets a little bit messy, just scoop it in. There we go. Next thing we're going to add is some dish soap. Whoops. You actually want to add 2 tablespoons of dish soap. So there's one. What's one thing you guys know about dish soap? What happens when you get dish soap wet? Why do you think we're putting dish soap in this watermelon? All right, and then the next thing that I'm going to do is add a little bit of red food coloring into my cup of vinegar here. And we'll stir it around, just like that. All right, now, before I add my vinegar into my watermelon, I want to ask you guys, what do you think will happen? What's going to happen when I add my vinegar into my watermelon? You probably already have some guesses. So if you do, go ahead and share them with your parents or your sister or your brother who's sitting with you. I want to hear your hypotheses about what will happen when I add this vinegar into my watermelon. Here we go. Let's see. Can I get a drum roll for the kids at home? Da, da, da. Oh, wow! Oh, it's a volcano! Oh my gosh, that's amazing! Oh, that is so cool! How long do you think it'll go? Whoa. That's pretty neat. So there you go, folks. That's the science experiment, the watermelon volcano. Now, as you can see, I made quite a bit of a mess here. I would encourage you guys to do this outside or like I did on a really big pan. What I'm going to do is go ahead and clean this up really quickly, and then I'll come back and we'll talk a little bit about what just happened and why it happened. Alright, I'll see you in a minute. I'm back in my office. I cleaned up my mess and it's time to talk science. So, we're going to talk about what happens when you mix vinegar and baking soda and why it makes a volcano. So, the first thing we need to talk about is chemicals. Vinegar and baking soda are both chemicals, and they have chemical names that are made of little letters. Let me see how I can show you what I mean. Maybe there's something on my whiteboard. Let's go see what it says this week. Alright, here's my whiteboard, and I have baking soda and vinegar written down. here I have the chemical name for baking soda, and here I have the chemical name for vinegar. Now these names may look funny, NaHCO3, that's weird, but what they mean that scientists speak for the ingredients of each thing. Baking soda is made up of 4 different kinds of elements. It's made up of Na, which is sodium, H, which is hydrogen, C, which is carbon, and O, which is oxygen. And same thing with vinegar. Vinegar has 3 different elements. It has H for hydrogen, C for carbon, and O for oxygen. So the names of these chemicals are just really a list of ingredients. Now what happens when you mix these things is sometimes you take your baking soda and your vinegar, you mix them together, and their letters get all mixed up, and sometimes those letters make something new. So there are a couple names that I bet you've heard before. Have you heard H2O? Where have you heard H2O before? What does it mean? It's the name for water. And what about CO2? Have you heard CO2? That's carbon dioxide. That's the same gas that makes your soda fizzy. It's the gas that makes you burp after you have too much of it. So what happens when you mix baking soda and vinegar is that their names get all mixed up, those letters get jumbled, and they make water and carbon dioxide. Now, if carbon dioxide can make soda fizzy, what do you think happens when you have a lot of it? That's right, it makes a volcano. So, to prove that I'm not lying to you, let's see if we can make H2O and CO2 out of these names. So let's see. The first thing that we need to find are some H's. We need H2. We need 2 H's. Let's see. So there's one. And there's another one. All right. I've got H2. Now I need an O. Let's see. Oh, there's an O. So I'm going to take, this says O3. I'm going to take one O away. So it becomes O2, and I'm going to put my O down here, H2O. There, I made some water. Now we have to make CO2. We have to make carbon dioxide. So let's see if we can find a C. There's a C right there. Take that one, write my C down. Now I need 2 O's, O2. Well, look right here, I have 2 O's, O2. So there we go, there's my O's. And now I don't have any there anymore. And I can write O2 right there. So that's how I got water and fizzy carbon dioxide from mixing baking soda and vinegar. That's how I made my volcano explode. That's pretty cool, huh? And every other chemical in the world has a name like that. It's made up of elements, just like these ones. And that's the science behind it. I hope you understand a little bit more about how baking soda and vinegar make a volcano, and I hope you enjoyed watching our volcano explode. I can't wait to see you next week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.